Hello, Travelers Rest United Methodist Church. This is Christine Matthews, your pastor of Discipleship, and I am coming to you today from outside our bell tower entrance and want to give you an update on our restart, reentry, reopening into Phase 2A, in-person small groups meeting outdoors. Some reasoning of what we've been looking at to begin this process of restarting some meetings in person is looking at the rate of infection of COVID-19 and following that, positive cases, the percent positive. Also, we put out a survey a couple of weeks ago and had a wonderful response on our survey on people's comfort level of restarting. Had about 130 people that are already involved in our small group ministries respond to that survey and give us an idea of what they were thinking and where they are at with their comfort level in restarting. Also, I've been having conversations with our small group leaders, adult Sunday school class teachers, growth group leaders, prayer team, Stephen ministers, TR fellows, lots of our small group ministries for youth and adults on what they think about restarting in-person small groups. And also, Pastor Jonathan and I and the church leadership have been meeting and discussing and reading and researching best and safest practices as we begin Phase 2A of reopening. So what we found on our surveys is obviously different people are in different places as far as their comfort level is concerned with beginning to meet in person. And that was reflected in our surveys. About a third of the people that took the survey are ready to meet in person. About a third would like to wait for the COVID-19 numbers to decline more before we begin meeting in person. And about a third would be okay with either continuing to meet by video conferencing, by Zoom, or meeting in person. So we have people a little bit all over the place as far as their comfort level. So what that means for us is that different small groups will begin meeting in different ways. So some of our adult small groups don't usually meet over the summer months, and that is the direction that they are headed in is not meeting over the summer months. Some other small groups will begin meeting in person. Some small groups want to continue meeting by Zoom or in other ways virtually until the numbers decline. And then there's some groups that will be hybrids, that will have part of the group meeting in person and part of the group joining by video conferencing or conference call, or a hybrid group that has part of the group meeting in person and part of separately, and then the other part of the group meeting by Zoom. And so kind of two different parts of the group meeting at two different times. So we don't have just one way that small groups will begin meeting again. It will depend on the small group and their leadership and what they decide they are most comfortable with. So we have 10 safety guidelines in place for our small groups that will begin to meet in person. First, our small groups will begin to meet in person the week of July 5th. That is a tentative date. If the numbers stay high or increase, the rate of infection increases between now and then the church leadership may propose to postpone that date if necessary. And each of the group leaders and participants will sign a waiver, a release of liability waiver before meeting. Also, the groups will be meeting outdoors, either on church grounds or outside at someone's home. We have some possibilities of some outdoor shady places, such as the picnic shelter, or underneath the bell tower entrance, or in the parking lot, depending on the time of day, in a shady spot in the parking lot. So group members will be physically distanced from each other 6 feet apart and avoid physical contact with others. We will ask all group members and leadership to wear a mask, and you can bring your own mask or we will have some available to you. Groups will reserve a space at the church with me in coordination with the other groups. And all days and times will be available except for Sunday mornings before noon. Another one of our safety guidelines is that the church will provide a mask if one is needed for anyone, and also hand sanitizer and spray disinfectant. And every small group will be able to spray the area that they are in after they are done with their small group meeting, so that it is ready for the next group. In-person meetings will be 45 minutes or shorter, because we know that part of the equation of figuring all this out is the time, the exposure time, and so we do want to have shortened meetings so that the exposure time will be less. People will be asked to bring their own yard chair to their meeting, so that then they can not have to clean that, but just take it with them. And also, participants are invited to bring their own beverage or snacks instead of having shared refreshments. Another guideline is that we will not be able to offer childcare during these small group meetings. And also, if the bathrooms are used, the small group will use the spray disinfectant to clean things like the door handles and faucets on their way out, so those will be ready for the next group. I am hopeful that we will be able to start this beginning the week of July 5th. You will be hearing from us if there is any delay in that start date. If you have any questions or concerns, I please invite you to call or email or text, or just talk with me or Pastor Jonathan about this so that we can address those as we move forward together, walking with Christ, serving God, and changing lives. Thanks.